Do the Russians like Donald Trump? What do you think? Let's find out. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Letters to King. We're living in today's Russia, explained by the insider you can trust. That's me, I'm the insider. So, what do the Russians think of Donald Trump in general? First, I will tell you what my opinion is, and second, I will tell about the Russians in general. In the past, I used to admire Donald Trump. I first heard about Donald Trump way back in the 80s when he was featured on Soviet TV as America's richest person, young real estate developer, self-made man, and it was just such a gulp of fresh air for us. I looked at him and I said, wow, I want to be this guy. Then Trump started appearing everywhere in the Russian media, news. I read a fiction book with Donald Trump as a main character, living in his Trump Tower. He was featured in the movie Home Alone. And let me tell you, that was quite a popular movie in Russia. When I first came to the United States, I didn't speak English. So I started learning by reading books. And guess what the first book I picked up was? The Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump. Little did I know back then that it was written by a shadow writer as a self-advertisement. I loved it. What was there not to like? Then Donald Trump was everywhere. He was in the news. He was giving out interviews. The Playboy, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, everywhere. When I first got to New York City, the first place I went was the Trump Tower. I went close to the Central Park, stood right in front of the Trump Tower, looked up and admired that building. I had heard so much about it. I was really excited. Then a wave of commercials followed on TV, in the radio, everywhere. Trump vodka, Trump taxi, Trump pizza, Trump this, Trump that. Then, of course, there was the show, The Apprentice. You are fired. I didn't really watch the show, but it was everywhere, okay? So Donald Trump became like a feature of pop culture. Then one of my developer friends in Maine, who knew Donald Trump personally, said, listen, he's not the guy that he's portrayed in the media. What does he know? I thought. Donald Trump was cool to me. But my mind works this way. If I get something inside of it, I dig down deep. And I started doing a little my personal investigation on Donald Trump. And I uncovered a completely different person that was portrayed in the media. Okay, it was pretty amazing, actually. I read a couple books. I read tons of interviews from people who he had worked with, his former associates and so forth. My opinion changed. I stopped liking and admiring Donald Trump. I dislike him. Stop. Don't start throwing rocks into me. I'll explain you why. One should know 4 things about Donald Trump. First, he's a lousy businessman. Apart from his early and few successes back in the 70s and 80s, he hasn't had much luck with business ventures. And that's pretty open information. Do your own research, I dare you. Second, he's an emotionless robot. He has very few human emotions. He doesn't have compassion whatsoever. He only befriends and communicates with people who he needs. Once the person stops being of interest to Donald Trump, he just drops the person completely. That's a known fact. Do your own research. He has done that numerous times. Third, he has amassed his fortune through inheriting it from his father, a real strong, smart, shrewd businessman, real estate developer from Brooklyn, New York. And the fourth, Donald Trump is probably world's best at making deals and communicating with people. I don't think there's another person in the world who can rival Donald Trump at making deals. This is how he's gone himself through life, and this is how he became the president of the United States of America. Somehow he talked the Republicans, the Republican Party, into making him a nominee, and he actually won. That's insane. He's definitely the best at negotiations and making deals. So, at first, I admired Donald Trump, and then I changed my opinion about him. But that had happened way before he even thought about becoming the US president, way back in like 2008 or 2009. And I don't know much about him as the president of the United States, whether he was good or bad. It seems like the American society is split in half. Some hate him, some love him, and thinks that he's people's hero. Well, I don't believe he's people's hero. And I personally have seen many lies he tweeted because I was subscribed to his Twitter. I've seen it with my own eyes. He would tweet one thing, and then 2 days later, he would tweet another thing. Also, the thing I didn't like was his attitude towards the press and the reporters. I mean, generally, there are some crooked reporters, but there are some decent ones. But he treated everyone who opposed him as a piece of garbage, and I didn't like that. That's all I know about Donald Trump, the president. Now the Russians. What do the Russians think? Well, believe it or not, in general, Russians like Donald Trump. And I tell you why. They never did their own research. Donald Trump appeared in the popular culture many, many times. He has been appearing for the past 30 years, perhaps even longer. And that builds up media capital. And Donald Trump is excellent with that capital. He's got excellent assets, informational assets, okay? On top of appearing in the news and, kind of being in your face all the time, Russian government has taken a very positive approach, very, very soft approach to Donald Trump when he became the president. I think it's not because he's a spy or he works for Putin or whatever, these crazy theories I have heard, but because of one simple reason. They didn't like Barack Obama and the Democrat bunch that followed him. Donald Trump had a hope of bringing something new to the relationship between Russia and the United States. He was an outsider. He was a businessman, a president with a background in business. I think, for the first time in history, he's not a professional politician. And that made him incredibly attractive for a lot of people, for a lot of Russians, for sure. I think that's the reason he's so popular in the United States, but among some people. But this definitely has created his image in Russia. He was people's man, so to speak, You see, the Russians never did their own research like I did. They didn't uncover the truth about that guy. So, the Russians generally like Donald Trump, but how was he towards Russia as the president of the United States? There's a popular opinion in the USA, I believe, that he was trying to promote Russia and then being friends with Putin or something, I don't know. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to tell you something pretty incredible, something that, you don't hear in the news, on the media that often. And I'm going to do that in the second video, right after this one. So let's find out, was Donald Trump really the friend of Russia? I always say that the actions speak louder than words. And let's find out what his actions towards Russia were.